Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new Metallica video here on the channel. We are still here. We're both still alive. This is a Metallica video without present Chris. Chris Schoenberg is not going to be joining us for this. And one of the main reasons for that is because I would say the main driving factor for us in terms of doing this video and why we're choosing to do it right now is because I want to take this opportunity to get people... get some traffic heading towards our Discord channel. I want people to head over there. And so this whole video is just going to basically be sort of like a little way for us to try to finagle people into checking out our Discord. But the main reason for that is because I recently found out, and I don't know if this is because of an update or what, but Cousin Cody told me recently that we can now do polls on Discord. And so that is what I've been wanting to do on Discord forever. And I've talked about it in other videos before too, where I think Discord would be a great place for us to do some polls to try to decide, one of the videos we want to do coming up is the Megadeth video, right? Where we do sort of like a sampling of Megadeth's catalog from across their whole discography. Mm-hmm. And then if we like it, and if the songs get cleared copyright-wise, because we don't know, where we've been so spoiled with Metallica this last year that we know anything that Metallica gets posted, pretty much, we're not going to have any copyright issues. Of course, all the money and ad revenue from these videos goes to Metallica. Like, I don't get to see any of that, but we at least get to use the audio that we're listening to in the videos. So... And I like that way better than having to upload silence or so people don't have to listen to my nose whistling the entire time we're listening to something. I know it's really annoying to have to line stuff up, but I want to try to use the Discord channel to sort of get conversations going with people to discuss. Like in my head, I see an ideal situation, and we did this a while ago with Megadeth already, and I don't think there was any specific choices made, but I want to go on there and be like, okay, we're getting ready to do the Megadeth sampler video. Choose 4 or 5 at most, but I think we were going to stick to 4. So choose 4 or 5. We'll let people know in advance. 4 or 5 songs from across Megadeth's catalog. What should we choose? Bearing in mind that I think the purpose of this should be to listen to sort of an early song, maybe a middle song. When you have a band like Megadeth that's been around as long as Metallica for 40 years, you could pick a song from each decade. You could pick, there's lots of different ways to approach it. What's their most iconic album? What's their most iconic song off of their most iconic album? Things like that. And so now that we can do polls, maybe what we'll try to do is I'll try to feel out what are the maybe 5 or 6 I haven't done this yet, so I can see what the poll limitations are, but I guess I could put a poll of Megadeth's entire discography, so list every one of their albums, and then say vote on which 4 albums you think we should choose a song from, and then whatever 4 albums get the highest votes, then I go through and do 4 separate polls, which song from each album should we do, and then we can use that as a way to sort of dictate. Now that's not necessarily, because Chris, there's been a couple songs you have mentioned where you're we need to listen to this song when we do Megadeth or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if we have certain songs we want to do specifically, I think that we can always just make the exception and be well, we got to do this one. And there also are songs from Megadeth that I've heard before, just to use Megadeth as an example. I've heard Crush 'Em before, which is a song from their early 2000s album, which was Bill Goldberg's entrance theme song for a while. So I've heard that song. So we wouldn't need to do that if that one would win the poll, for example. And
then if one that we want doesn't win, then we override it.
We could override it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's just a way of sort of trying to feel out the process of what does everyone want to hear, because I would rather give people what they want to see us reacting to.
Especially while the Discord is relatively small, without any particular expectations for it to become overwhelmingly popular.
Yeah,
there is something nice about being on the ground floor of a thing like this, of a community, and then being able to make choices where 5 years from now, people who've been here from the beginning can tell noobs hey, I used to be able to pick what they did.
Yeah,
they don't talk
for sure. And right now, if you go to our Discord and look, we don't have a ton of people on there, but almost all the people that I'm seeing that are posting are a lot of the people that we were talking to when we did the premieres live. So there's a lot of the same people posting on there. And I want to say right now, thank you to those people for keeping the Discord running, because am so bad with Discord. Like, it's still such a foreign thing to me. I look at it and I still can't get over the, like, for me, there's like a mental hurdle I have to get over of the idea that, like, when I'm not looking at it and I come back to it, like, whatever's gone, I just missed, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's really weird to me. And so, like, I have to just accept the fact that, like, you're there in the moment. And like, I'm lucky enough that, like, when I post something, any time of day, no matter what it is, I posted something a little bit ago, just letting people know we were going to be doing this.
Nice.
And I got like a response within like a minute, you know, so like there's people that are on there watching, not a ton. And so, yeah, we wanted to do this video, get some eyeballs on some more Metallica stuff, and to try to see if we could get a couple of people to go over to our Discord, which I will put a link. It'll be like the first thing in the description of the video. I might even put it in a comment, though I don't think in comments you can put links to things like that, but it'll be in the description for sure. And
yeah, I mean, I leave my Discord open all day because I am part of enough different groups of things, and just it's my primary source of communicating with some people. And so it's like I lurk. I've got so many servers that I never interact with, but if I ever get tagged, like somebody wants to talk to me, then I'll see it. I just don't ever I don't really peruse. I have things to do, and I've never been big on like social media and forum scanning and all the things that where it's like, oh, here's a community of people, go inject yourself into it and act like that you're all friends. Like, that's just always been really difficult for me to do. So I'm always lurking.
Yeah, and I'm kind of the same way too. And Chris Schoenberg is the same way as well. I know Cody, when we first started the Discord, I was like, oh, great. If nothing else, I can like post links to our videos when they come out and people will see right away that they're there. And so like I started doing that. And then after like a week or so, I just completely stopped doing that. But then Cody was doing it for me. So he was going on there and like, Patrick released a new video. Here's this new thing.
I feel like you can get a bot for that.
I'm sure you can. It's such a weird way for me to approach stuff. So I don't know, but
automation rules.
Yeah. And so anyway, we're still trying to figure out how to set the whole thing up to make it like work really great. Like Chris said, this is really ground floor thing at the moment. And, you know, but if anyone likes the idea of being a part of some polls, you can go there and talk to all the other people who watch these videos that care about it enough to like go try to talk to other people about it. Yeah. And so there's like, we have a whole channel that's just labeled Metallica, and I really don't even look in that one, but it's literally just people talking about, like, someone will pop in and be like, hey, I just joined the Discord. Like, here's my favorite 5 Metallica albums. And then they'll talk for hours with other people who've watched the videos about like what their favorite Metallica stuff is. So like, there's a lot of cool stuff like that. You know,
we could get some mods, some community manager people. If you are in it all the time and you want to do stuff, then tell us and you can do it.
Yeah, that would be great. We've also had people, and this blows my mind too, because I definitely don't think we're at the level where this kind of thing should be happening. But like, we had people design like T-shirts and stuff. We don't have T-shirts. We have no merch or anything like that.
Yeah,
but someone
that's cool, though.
Someone designed a bunch of T-shirts with like Chris's head on it, with your head on it, that said "Shut up, Patrick," and everyone was like, "Oh my God, I would buy like 10 of those," you know. And so there's people that's on there that are doing like cool creative stuff, and like I just, you know. Hopefully, because of we're now entering stage 3 of my chemotherapy cancer treatment, and like I'm gonna have a little bit more time during the week. I want to try to dedicate more time to the channel. It's been really hard for me during stage 2. I was going to the hospital basically 4 out of 5 days of the week. And then if we were doing something over the weekend, usually if I have something on the weekend, it means either my family's coming to visit me or we're going to visit them. And that is like 2 full days of like, there's nothing going on but family. So it's really hard for me to find time to do things. And I know that's such a silly thing to complain about because so many people have really hard jobs with really long, tough hours.
That's fine.
I know.
Other people's problems do not negate your own.
No, I know, for sure.
It's part of how your life works, and that's how it is.
For sure. And so I just want to say, like, working on it, trying to figure everything out. Hopefully you'll get a little bit more time in there. And that's the whole purpose of this video, is to just kind of try to drive some traffic there. So if all this Discord stuff sounds interesting to you, please let me know. Please go check out the Discord. We mention stuff in the comments. Go to the Discord and type in if you think there's simple things we can do to make it easier for everybody. I would totally be willing to try anything out there. I think it'd be great. We can also do polls on YouTube, so I can try some of that stuff too. Maybe I'll mess around with doing polls on both, the same poll on both, and we can try to calculate the numbers and whatnot.
I click on a lot of YouTube polls. I scroll through and they're always just there, and I just answer questions. And it's like, whose was this for? I don't have any idea.
And
I just answered the question that they asked me.
Exactly. I belong to one of them. The React channels I belong to is, I forget, React something. I forget what it's even called, but they'll have like, it's just like facts. So it's like, what was the best-selling pop album of 1985? And they'll have like 5 albums, and I'm like, it's got to be Madonna, right? And I'll click on it, it'll be like, no, Bruce Springsteen or whatever. I'm like, what the hell, you know? So,
and
but
then
it's
you
like,
change your answer, and you're like, see, I got it.
Yeah, I do. So yes, I do agree. Polls are like such a simple thing, and so we'll figure out ways to try to do this stuff and see. And yeah, like Chris said, if there's people that be interested in helping and stuff, like I can't pay anybody. None of us make any money doing this or anything like that. So just to throw that out there, but we'll see what ends up happening. I've been thinking about making a Patreon, because I've had people in like almost all of our Metallica videos are like, I wish there was like a simple way to just donate to you guys a little bit, and any amount would be helpful. But like, if I do start like a Patreon or something, maybe we could think of it more as like you don't necessarily, if you want to subscribe to us for like $1 a month or whatever, that's fine. I wouldn't feel necessarily super guilty about $52 a year if someone forgot their subscription or something, but we could also think of it more like, okay, if you want to donate like $5 just once and then just unsubscribe for the next month or whatever, I would be totally fine with that too, whatever, so we'll see. I'm worrying about that kind of stuff later. For now, this is just about the Discord.
In my experience, Patreon is something that you subscribe to and then you just never think about it again. I've been paid. There's some Patreon whatever's that I've been dumping money into for like 10, 15 years.
I know. Yeah, I know. Me too.
But it's like
I haven't been, but yeah.
Right. But to me, it's like, even if I don't necessarily interact with this anymore, I want to be able to support them continuing to do it because I like them so much.
Yeah.
And so as long as they exist, and I can afford it, here, have some money, it's not a whole lot. So
yeah, no, for sure. And that's the whole point of something like that. If you can get 100 people to like your content to give you $1 a month, you're getting $100 a month, which is $100 a month you weren't getting before. So
right.
So for sure, 100%, I get it. So we'll see. And I've been debating about like things we can put on the Patreon to make it a little bit worth it,
Yeah, for sure. I actually think about that a lot.
Yeah, I know. I hate hiding stuff behind like a paywall. I hate that. And I also the idea of like, you can go see it for like a couple weeks early on Patreon. Like part of me kind of doesn't like that either. I want people, like I love doing the premieres when we can. And so like you can't really do that when you're giving stuff to patrons early, because they'll be the ones that would be reacting to it with you live, So it's like, whatever. It doesn't matter. For the purposes of this, we're just here to have some fun with Metallica. This is the first time we're going to be watching some live stuff. And we've actually done not a poll, but we've talked on Discord like a month and a half ago. We had this long conversation with a lot of people on there about like what would be the best live Metallica videos to react to from the Binge and Purge set. And I don't remember what everyone said. It's been so long, but I do remember specifically everyone saying Creeping Death. And so So just now before we started recording this, I had Chris go online and he found a good YouTube video that's like a high quality version of the whole Seattle show, I think from 89. And so he just went through and picked Creeping Death, and then he thought we should listen to Whiplash because he remembered that I liked that one. That's the penultimate song from the set. And then I was looking at it and I thought, oh, it might be interesting to hear Fade to Black just because I know that song fades out on the album and is kind of annoying. So it'd be interesting to hear how they do that live. So for this video right here, we're going to go in chronological order through that. We're going to listen to Fade to Black first. Then we're going to just skip and go, we'll stop, talk about it, and then we'll go to Creeping Death, listen to it, watch it, react to it, and then we're going to go and end the video on Whiplash. So we're just going to do 3 songs in this. There's still many other songs we can react to from this show. I still want to do a reaction to the Moscow show because I've seen tiny little like 10-second clips of that before, and it looks bonkers to have like 1 million people in the crowd.
Is that also from the Black Tour?
Yes, that's from the Black Tour because like the thing I've seen a lot is them like doing Enter Sandman, the intro riff, and the people just are going nuts, and you see like I could be totally making this up in my head, but I swear I see like military tanks in the background and stuff and all this like patriotic like Russian stuff, which is really interesting.
You know what? I'm into it. That sounds great. there was that they sent me that Moscow link earlier, and I think that's the one that had that comment like, this concert was the closest we've ever been to world peace.
Yeah, yes. So it's like, so I want to do some of that. And then we also have, there's a whole nother show that came with the Binge and Purge stuff, which I think was in 1993 Mexico.
I swear it was Mexico City 93, or Mexico City 91. But I looked online and there is no Mexico City 91. So I'd have to go find my actual physical copy and take a look at it, or any of the other infinite resources to look something up.
Right.
So see what's actually in the bin.
Yeah. So anyway, my point is we've got lots of other live stuff we can do. This is all still building to us doing Symphony and Metallica, which I'm very much looking forward to. And
Any minute now.
And we do still have the second disc of Garage Inc. to do. Plus, people still. I've got a comment just earlier today that they want us to listen to the entirety of Beyond Magnetic. So I'm like,
didn't we do that?
We listened to one song from Beyond Magnetic, and then I think separately we each listened to it kind of on our own. Like I know I burned a disc of it for myself, and I listened to the first like 5 or 6 songs in the car like a couple times, but I wasn't paying attention to too much. But to me, that kind of thing is like kind of lost on me because I don't know Death Magnetic well enough to appreciate Beyond Magnetic.
Yeah.
You know, so like, oh, that riff is different to me would mean nothing because to me it's just like whatever. I just don't know.
And that's,
you know,
kind of goes back to what we were talking about before we started this, the Saint Banger thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Where with all the edits made in that, and like, I don't like it.
Yeah, and I still haven't listened to that whole thing because I know there's maybe a chance we could do that, but I've listened to sort of several parts, and I know I was telling Chris before we started this that I was listening to it a little bit ago, and they took out my favorite part of that whole album, which is "Shoot Me Again, I Ain't Dead Yet." Like, right, the best part of the whole freaking album, and the guy who made Saint Banger, which I think he did a great job, totally took that whole part out. So
it is a very impressive effort, and I don't want to talk about it like it doesn't have merit at all.
Yeah, don't want to diminish it, yeah.
But there is a frustrating amount of like, I just didn't think this song needed to be 8 minutes, so now it's 4, and it's like, well,
yeah,
it's not how this works.
Yeah, but like I said though, a lot of the comments in are very positive. That people were happy with how he cut the song. So whatever, I guess who are we to say? But anyway,
Metallica authority. I will say
for sure. I mean, definitely, I have some authoritative say in this because. I am such a Metallica expert, having listened to almost everything once.
Yeah, everything once over the course of almost a couple of years now.
Yeah. I will also say, as I'm looking here, I see my video seems to be quite...
I loved Saint Anger before it was cool.
Sorry, yeah, you did. You've mentioned that multiple. Sorry, my video seems to be lagging quite a bit. Yours looks great. So hopefully when I look at the recording, everything's okay. But just in case everything's off a little bit... Just know I apologize for that. My laptop's
I'm seeing your lag too.
Been having trouble with like overheating, I think, a little bit and stuff. So whatever, we'll see. What else was I gonna say? Oh, my throat is parched, so I have to go get my beverage. So just hold on 1 second. We'll be right back. Wait, what was that? I missed it.
Oh, I forgot you had to do your whole snap thing first. But I was gonna say, now for something completely irrelevant, is my
phone case?
My 8-disc special edit version of the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth soundtrack.
Dude.
Yes.
Dude, that is awesome. What a cool box set.
Dude, it's really great.
That looks awesome.
You can get the regular one, which is a 7-disc, but it doesn't come with nearly as much interesting stuff. You get all your discs in this wonderful case, and then you also get this guy here. This is 8-disc, which is like all of most of the stuff that's like in the gold saucer, all of like the little arcade games and one-offs and stuff like that. And then here's this great booklet.
Very cool.
With
artwork
all kinds of wonderful art, and then like little notes from the developers about the individual songs and like the purpose of music in the game and all that other stuff.
Okay. So we just had a very long conversation about video games and Final Fantasy and stuff, and I'm going to probably cut that chunk out and put it at the end of this video because I want to get into Metallica and I want that to stay in there. So if anybody's watching this and you want to hear Chris talk about how excited he's been for Final Fantasy, and I mentioned Metal Gear, Mafia, GTA 6, all the good stuff that's coming out. After we're done with the Metallica stuff, I'll plop that little section in at the end. So make sure you stay till the end if you want to hear us talk about video games. But for now, let's go ahead and get into this. So what I've decided I'm going to do, Chris, to make it easier on myself, even though it'll probably be harder on my computer, is I'm going to have the video on screen here, and I'm going to capture it along with what we're doing. So if the frame rate just goes... then we can't do. But it is going to be whatever it is. So, okay, so this first song we're going to do is, I said, Fade to Black. Okay, so I just clicked on the thing and paused it.
Same.
The timestamp, which I should know all about that because there will be timestamps in this stupid video. Okay, let me open this. I'm going to put it kind of in between us here so that it's going to be down below us, kind of like right here where I'm in this box, right? Like this. And then for you, about the same, roughly like a little square. Doesn't matter. But just, yeah, whatever. I can see your whole face, so it doesn't matter. All right. I think the way to do this is to do it the way we've approached it before. I'm going to make my screen full screen here. So I'm full screen right in a second here, as soon as my computer goes. Bleh. Okay, so I'm going to just say count down 3, 2, 1, and we'll start it. And we'll just let it go through this song, okay?
Sure.
And I mean, we'll talk. We'll talk during it and everything, so.
Right.
All right, let me make sure. I'm going to actually make it not 1060. I'm going to go 720p. All right. I think that's good enough. Okay, so everybody watching, this is going to be my first time watching a Metallica song all the way through from front to back. I did see them do a couple performances last year when 72 Seasons was coming out. I watched them perform a couple of songs live on David Letterman. Or not David Letterman, The Late Show, one of the late night shows.
Colbert.
Yeah,
Probably,
Colbert, maybe. And so I did watch a little bit of that. So I've seen them perform a couple of things. But for the most part, I am very, 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 very new to the way Metallica performs live. So we'll just see what happens. I'm excited to see this. Again, one of the reasons we chose Fade to Black is because the song on the album fades out. And I highly... There's no way they're going to fade the song out on this performance. So are you ready, Chris?
I'm ready.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, is the video kind of choppy?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can see it moving around now. I was like, hopefully it's not the frame rate of my terrible, slow, laggy computer. Okay, yeah, I can see it moving. James doing rhythm. Kirk doing lead. And then just long held out bass notes. If you were like, Patrick, what song is this? I'd be like, I have no clue. Right? Because this isn't part of the song. I mean, I guess it is, but...
It's the intro.
Yeah, but is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I recognize what they're doing.
I like how good the bass sounds in this.
Oh, good point. So this would be Cliff Burton, or
This is Jason.
this is Jason? Okay, I guess I haven't seen him yet.
Cliff died in 86.
Whoa. I was woeing Lars's drumming. I'm like, you're doing a few extra hits that you don't need in there, Buster.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I just have to say, and I know this is so weird probably for most people, it is so shocking to me to see them with long hair. I have never experienced them with long hair in my existence with them. You know what I mean?
They're considerably younger than you and I right now in this video. I hate that.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. James has a left earring in his left ear. That whammy bar. James is doing. He's got his foot on the pedal board, it looks like. Maybe not.
I think they've still got the same mix split, James left, Kirk right, in the headphones.
Yes, I think you're right. And I think that's why they kind of approach... There's Jason.
Yep.
Okay, more lead from Kirk. Has there been points where they would paint their fingernails black?
I think so. That sounds familiar.
Because I remember I read an interview with Alexi Laiho about the Children of Bodom guitarist, about how you do that so that people can more easily see your fingers moving.
Oh, interesting.
When they look at the guitar, it's like much better for videos and stuff. So
that's cool.
Some bands will do it just if they're recording a DVD or something. I see James has like wristband things on.
He looks so cool, man.
He does look cool.
He is like the poster
all of them
the
do.
coolest looking guy I've ever seen. Those sweatbands on his wrists do so much for how cool he looks.
Yeah. Jason has one too. And Lars with the headband.
I like that. This mix sounds really good.
It does sound really good. It's very wide.
Yeah. And like if anybody on either guitar does something a little bit different, you're going to hear it.
Yeah. Has anyone ever accused Jason of looking like Maynard?
Not that I know of. That's an interesting point, though.
I've only ever seen a couple of pictures of Maynard with long hair. Mostly I've seen him with a bald. So I don't know why I think that. I'm dumb.
No, there's weirder things to say.
Also, I will say, and this is, again, I'm not a live music person.
Right.
And please don't get mad at me for talking over the whole thing, but I feel like Lars is really close to all the drums.
That's how he
like
plays.
he's sitting really close to everything. Is really tight around him, you know.
I think you get a lot more freedom for speed when you don't have to extend so far.
Right, and your arms probably tire way less too. If you don't have to reach as far, yeah. His back is really hunched when he's playing too, which is not good posture. I mean, I'm just thinking of them playing every night for like 3 hours for.
That's how he sits. I don't know, man.
No, for sure. Okay, we have James solo here. No.
No, it's on the right.
Yeah. Wonder why he holds his pick. Oh yeah, of course, that's what you would do. Huh. Wah, Godsmack making an appearance. And also I liked, on their drum kit, it looked like Lars had a Norwegian flag there.
He probably does.
Did he? That's pretty badass. I wonder if someone threw it on stage and they just put it up there as like an impromptu moment. Because it looks like it's kind of falling off now. I mean, it sounds fantastic. Dutch? Maybe it's a Dutch. Maybe it's a Netherlands flag then.
Yeah, maybe.
I know the Swedish flag because I had to do a report on Sweden when I was in.
Yeah, that's the blue-yellow.
Yeah. And I think I know the Finnish flag as well because that's where Nightwish is from. But there's lots of good metal bands from all the Scandinavian countries. My favorite Dutch metal band is probably Epica, maybe. Okay, so I talked over that whole thing. I apologize, everybody.
It's all right. I mean, that's, I don't know, what do we... I suppose the question really is, like, what are we reacting to?
I know, you're right. To me, it was more the video than the song, so We'll see if that makes people mad. You guys dig that song, don't you?
He's so funny, dude. Like,
Hold on, I'm listening to him.
Hey, man, I know
He's got a
about
red
you,
Solo
but,
cup.
It's like summertime, and to me, it's beer drinking weather. Yeah. You guys get
he's
lubed
such a
up on the way
dad.
here?
Like,
How's-
he sounds really lame,
You had some hot beers
but in a
the
cool
car,
way.
didn't you?
Okay, I'm pausing.
His
Dude, every
like,
metal
his
show
mid-song-
is just the exact same. It just is the exact same.
What do you mean?
Between every song, it's like it's the same exact thing.
What are you supposed to tell 1,000
Everybody
people?
out there got your beers? Everybody ready? Oh yeah, we're ready to have some fun tonight. It's just.
I mean, that's live music, man.
I mean, I know, I get it, 100%. It just.
But it's
I know,
so funny. I don't know. There's something about, I don't know what it is, but all of the banter that James does between songs just cracks me up. It has this wholesome vibe to it where it's just like, What's up, guys?
Right, for sure. Okay, so I'm also going to say, I noticed that James on his guitar had EETFUK on there.
Yes, which
Now,
I love. I love that so much. It's
I'm
so
just going to
stupid.
pretend, for the sake of not having to blur out every 5 seconds of the video, that he's clearly referring to the very classic Dutch word. Hold on. Let me go to Google. Let me go to Google Translate real quick and make sure and find out exactly what it says on his guitar.
I will be blown away if it's anything other than.
Hold on. Let me Google Translate. Hold on. My phone is getting real slow.
Do you need your do you need your mom to come put in the parental access code?
No, I don't want my mom anywhere near. Coffee. My mom's such a sweetheart.
I love that sentence. That's such a great sentiment. I don't want my mom anywhere near coffee.
Okay. EET. It's got to mean something in some language. Okay.
I doubt it.
It's
It
got
means
to.
something in English.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So, from Dutch to English, it actually means each day.
Amazing. Is that better? I think maybe.
Hold on. It actually detected Dutch, but let's change it to from English. Oh, so in English or no. Okay. Check. Hey, it means never mind.
EETFUK, no space?
Yep. Yeah, no space.
As in yes space?
EET space FUK means never mind.
In Czech.
Yeah. And that's
Well,
great.
you heard it here first.
And I'm Czech,
Everyone.
so that's what it officially means.
Perfect.
So that's why he has never mind on his guitar, and it's very deep. It's a very deep meaning. I definitely
Yes, it
understand
is.
why he has it on there. Okay, let's move on to the next song.
Yeah, it's for Nirvana. I got the name of that album, by the way, from
Yeah.
James Hetfield's guitar.
That's why it says on the front, "Eat fuck."
That's right. So now you don't have to blur it because you can just say, "Oh, it's fine." It's
Never
whatever
mind.
you say.
I'm Czech.
Check for never mind.
Okay, all right. Are you ready for the next one?
Which is?
Creeping Death.
That's right.
Creeping Death,
Yes.
which starts at 134.09. Okay, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
You guys want something else more or something? Do you want something else more? Get loud with Creeping Death!
They go so much faster live. I love it.
Yeah. So when you mix live sound like this, which I've never done, thank God, because I hate live sound.
And they
on.
pause.
Hold on. Oh, cool. What I was going to ask was, all the sort of like reverby roominess we're hearing in the mix, that's just inherently in the mix, right? Like they're not actually adding like reverbs and things to the mix after the fact to make it sound more live. Do you think?
That's such
right?
a good question, because if it's direct feed, I don't know where it would get the reverb from. But I agree, they wouldn't.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering too. But they have crowd noise in there, so you can hear the crowd.
Fair.
So like, do they have just like most big venues have like, I mean, this may be too big, but like a lot of venues have mics hanging from the ceiling and stuff, and they just feed a little bit of that into it. But they might also have like mics down at the foot of the stage, like aimed towards the crowd or off to the side or who knows what.
I'd love to know.
Or there could even be a microphone stand set up where they do front of house and have it kind of aiming at the back of the crowd or something. Because it definitely, like if you just showed me this, it definitely sounds like it's a live performance, right?
It does. It sounds live, but it is so good at the same time. It's really well done. I love Jason on backup vocals too.
Yeah.
Because on the albums, it's always James.
Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of metal recently. A lot of the stuff that I grew up with. And the fact that Metallica never uses, really never uses double bass drumming is like...
It's wild.
It's shocking to me.
Yeah.
And it's just a stylistic thing for sure.
Because they can do it. They're doing it right now.
Oh, sure. But I have like whole albums where like 80% of the album is like double bass.
Yeah, it's just a war zone on recorded onto a CD.
Yeah, or a lot of it is like, a lot of the metal that I listen to is like more rhythmic based metal. So instead of going da-da-da-da-da, they're going right, like the riffs are just like the same note going da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like the one breakdown in one, right? You know, the breakdown in the song One by Metallica.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's the kind of like basis of like the riffs of all of the songs. So like that happens as like a majority of every song. So it's like, it's just a different way to approach it, I guess. I don't know.
This is so enormous live, man.
Yeah. There's something that's so much more groovy about not using the double bass, so I guess was what I was going to say.
Yeah, leave space.
Yeah. Like a lot of the metal that I listen to, the drums are like as intense as the guitars, and that is not the case with Metallica.
Right.
Like the drums are just more of like a stereo, like a much more typical drum beat with just heavy guitars over it. This is cool. And I will say to people watching this, like a majority of all the live shows that I've seen, which in my life has not been very many because I hate live music, but if I've gone to like, let's say 20 live shows, like of actual big bands and not just like local bands, probably 17 or 18 of them were metal bands.
Yeah.
So like
the best kind of live show.
Yeah, it's not like I've seen, you know, I did get to see Shiny Toy Guns live.
Nice.
You know, I got to see Blue October like 3 times, I think. So like I have seen other genres of music, but like, you know, I've seen In Flames, Mudvayne, Seven Dust, In Flames again, Demon Hunter, Birthday Massacre, you know, Luvietti. Never did get to see Soilwork. Or still haven't got to see Soilwork, I guess.
A little bit of Kurt vocal in there.
This is cool, though. That's a really cool part. Like, that is... I'm sure you've watched people react to Baby Metal. Have you, right?
Not really, honestly.
Oh, really? Like, one of the number one songs to watch react to is the Baby Metal song, where they have this long, like, 10-minute thing in the middle of the song where they just, like, break it down and they're doing that, and everyone, like, sings this song, and it's like... I mean, it literally, like, will bring tears to a person's eyes watching it, because it's
so
like...
great.
It's like amazing.
It's all Jason vocals here.
Awesome. Very heavy.
Completely different style.
Yeah.
I always really liked Jason. He was so cool, man.
Yeah.
Kirk's like 12.
I know they all look so young. I was looking at some album booklets from In Flames and like some of their earlier albums yesterday, and I was like, oh my god. These dudes were like 5 years old when they were making their first albums. That's like when I listened to the first couple of the Rasmus albums.
Yeah.
They literally have their high school choir sing on their first album.
That's cool.
That's how young they were when they recorded it with their band teacher as their audio engineer.
It's odd for Jason to be playing like that. They show two different basses.
Not right now.
Because in some shots he's got that like light wooden one with like the wood grain one, and then it switches in. That was like two different shots. It's like they're weaving footage together.
Did they do these two same shows like multiple nights in a row?
Probably, yeah.
Because they do that sometimes. I've seen that on live.
Totally. That's just crazy.
Live
That it's
shows.
like, I would think if they were going to do that, they would try to make it match as well as they could. Mm-hmm. But here's Jason with a completely different bass. Just sometimes.
I'm letting it go. I'm just watching Kirk do solos now.
He's crushing it.
I guess I just am taking for granted this whole time, like how good they are live, but
Right. This is the thing that is so strange. Like Schoenberg was saying how Metallica's not good live, and I've just never. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. The thing that made them so big was that they were better live than people thought bands could be.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's just basing it off of like a much more recent show than they. Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't think you can reach a certain level of fame as a band and not be good live, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that with Taylor Swift the other day. I'm like, when you go to a Taylor Swift show, do you see any music performed live?
Oh, she's probably got it.
I mean, are there guitars and drums and basses there, or is it all just her dancing?
Well, I mean, she plays acoustic guitar, I think.
Oh no, I know
Somewhat
she can
regularly.
play instruments, but I'm saying, does she do that like when she goes and plays in a stadium of, 50,000 people? Is it her sitting on a stage with a guitar? I mean, maybe a couple songs.
Right, I know I've seen her play a guitar in live.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much.
Okay, I think the next song's just started, or he's still noodling. I'm going to stop it. Because as we all know, my opinion of soloed solos is not very high. That was really cool. I definitely can see how people would, like, if just watching the live... Like, if I just watched the live performances of them, that would maybe be a song that would stand out more to me. And also, like you pointed out multiple times there, like, Jason was doing a lot of background vocals in that song. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I don't remember there being any background vocals in that song at all on the album.
No, I mean, not really.
So
I think the stuff that he does, like, he just kind of sings a part that is regular. I think it's just regular verse for the most part. So it's like,
I think
on
he's
the album, it's always going to be James. But I think that they do it when they do it live. James can't do everything.
Right.
You don't get dual tracks. So and I've always really enjoyed that about their live stuff is, at least when Jason was around, his background vocals and stuff was always so cool.
Yeah, and you can definitely understand why they're doing what they're doing, because him just doing like a verse or whatever that they're doing like allows James to walk around and make silly faces and play the guitar and do little licks and things, and I'm not familiar enough with the song with the songs, like to know, like, are they playing exactly what they played on the album, or are they like improvising little deedly dees here and there?
There's a lot of extra
that they can
bits
like,
and bobs.
you know, you can like wink at the audience, be like, haha, look at the little cool little thing that I did. Like, I imagine there's a lot of those types of things going on.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like the song is faster and it's got more of everything. I would say it's got more drums, you know, individual drums, hits, things like that. There's more drums, there's more guitar, everything's faster. Like, it's definitely, I don't know, it's a much more intense, interesting experience where it's like you're still getting what you expect and you're getting a special, like, Whiplash is a great example of, like, every time I've seen them play Whiplash live, they play it seemingly as fast as they can. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, I don't know, and it always sounds great.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's the one we're going to finish this video off with here in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm excited. It's interesting to see this. I think that, you know, we've talked about it before a little bit. Like, it's pretty rare that it's very rare that I would ever sit down to like actually listen to a live album. My preferred method of consuming something like this would be to like sit down and watch the DVD. You know?
Sure. Yeah,
and all the music DVDs that I have are all bands that are very important to me, because it would be like, I even have a couple things that I bought that were on sale once. Like, I have a Dream Theater live with orchestra, like live with a string section. And I've never sat and watched that because I don't know any of those songs. It doesn't really mean anything to me. You know what I mean? Now, could I sit there and watch it and be awed at how amazing it all is? Probably, you know, but I've never...
Something like that. I think if it was something like that where you didn't know the band, like, I can think it, like, would I sit down and watch a Dream Theater live album or DVD? Absolutely not.
Right, and that's kind of my point.
Would I do that with two friends? Probably.
Right. Yeah, like if we did something like that on the channel, like that would be an awesome thing to react to, I think. Mm-hmm. But like, it's just a matter of like, exactly, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, if I'm going to do something like that, you know, I'm sacrificing time watching anything else that would probably be more entertaining to me than that. You know, but so all the stuff like I have like every live Depeche Mode release that they've ever done, and they have done a live concert release for every album they've released over the last 20 years, which is only like 4 or 5 albums. But like, so like I have many Depeche Mode live albums, and they're all great and they're all very different, and I really like the style of them and everything and the editing and everything. And I have like several live Nightwish live DVDs. And like one of them, their most famous one, is called End of an Era. And it is their last show they ever did with Tarja before they basically essentially kicked her out of the band. And it was that night after the show was over that they gave her the very famous letter that said, "Hey, you're out of the band."
Wow.
But like, that concert is edited so poorly. There is so many cuts. It's like hard to watch almost. And I've seen a lot of shows like that, especially from the early 2000s, where late 90s, early 2000s, where it's just like unbearable to watch. It's like the guy, you can't go for more than 3 seconds without there being a cut. And
that sounds very of that era.
Yes, and I hate that. I want to see, if a guy's like, let the musicians be the musicians. And so that's why I enjoyed what we just watched. You could see what everyone was doing. There was still a lot of cuts, and there were even moments like at the beginning of Creeping Death where they had these like weird like effects on like Lars as he was drumming and stuff, like stutter like video effects and stuff, which is totally stupid and should never be in like a live DVD. But I understand for the time that this was made and everything, so it's like you got to be forgiving in that regard, I guess. But like, it still was really good, and you could see what they were doing, and like, I enjoyed the production aspect of it. The audio obviously sounds great because we're not talking about anything sounds bad. And they're obviously their performances are good because nothing's standing out as being bad. So like, we're not even really focusing on that. I'm more focusing on like the video and stuff and the way they look and how they're acting and stuff, because that's what I'm seeing for the first time. Like, I've been really surprised this whole time. Like, I don't know if I've seen Kirk's face only like maybe 1 or 2 times. Every other time he just has his hair in front of his face like this, and he's soloing and stuff, and so you just don't see him at all. Whereas I feel like Jason and James, especially being the front man, is way more like aware of the fact that his face is going to needs to be shown like the whole time. And part of that, I'm sure, is because you need to have a clear view of the microphone to know like how far it is from your face and stuff, so you can't have your hair in front of your face. But also like, you just have to get used to flipping your hair, and you get up to the mic and start singing. It just inherently, you want to look cool when you're the lead singer of the band, right?
Right.
But like, Kirk doesn't care about that, and my impression of him not knowing him at all very much at all is like that he does seem like a much more like shy person just in general.
He's very quiet.
Yeah, so like I could see him not caring if his hair is like covering his face and he's just doing his solos. So like that's interesting. Jason, I thought the whole time like you could see his face almost the entire time too. So like,
and Jason is always
you know,
mean mugging. Like he can't
yeah.
wait to twist his face up into some kind of hell. And it's I love it so much. He's just always just looking crazy.
Yeah. And so that was great. And it's just so far both songs look like Lars has just been having fun the whole time, but he really is like just basically going nuts the entire time. You know, I mean, that's just what a drummer
He really
does.
used to be such a little gremlin. Like he still is, but now he's old. But like just the sort of that impish energy where he's just this little dude who's back there going 11 out of 10 the whole time.
Yeah.
Just really hamming it up, pointing at people and making faces and sweating all over the place.
And we're not really watching what's happening in between songs because I would almost be curious to see like how, like there Kirk was soloing a bunch and stuff and then we just stopped it. But like when they play a fast song like that, is there like a maximum amount of time they like have to rest before the next song starts so they can even get through it? You know what I mean? Like
I think probably at this point in their careers, they could have done anything. Like just, you know.
At this point, maybe. But I wonder if like now, like, because I know I've seen little clips of them now, like now they play a song and then they'll maybe stand there and all talk to each other for like 5 minutes and the crowd loves it and eats it up because they worship these people, you know, and they're legends at this point. So like any words, anything that they say at all is just like soaked up by the audience. And so they can
it's a shame because
use that to their advantage.
Physically, Lars is the only one that like physically, you know, drumming is going to be harder to maintain in your old age than playing guitar, unless you have like, you know, arthritis, carpal tunnel, and stuff like that. But you don't have to sprint back and forth to play guitar. And drums still have very much like all of your limbs are doing stuff all the time. And I think without knowing anything about anything that I'm talking about right now, I would say that it makes the most sense to me that they would probably play their fastest songs last or late in the set, which works out pretty well considering those are going to be like the big, you know, grand finale encore songs and also probably their older songs anyway. So it all lines up really well to do it like that.
Yeah.
Like if you start the show with Whiplash and everybody's wiped out after 20 minutes because they're 60.
Right.
Like it's like that would be worse.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, I almost wonder if there's like an amount of time that they have like a preferred, like, okay, after we do Creeping Death, like we need to have like 2-minute breather before the next song starts.
They
like do something for 2 minutes in
schedule
between.
in their solos and stuff so that they can chill out.
Like,
then I could see that.
And so or like whatever, like do you know, and I know a lot of bands like it's people don't like to acknowledge this, but like a lot of bands, like almost everything you hear on stage that's like banter is pre-planned, like everything, like choreographed down to like a T of exactly what's being said, even stuff that seems like it's very in the moment. Now, like, of course, Metallica is old, legendary enough, mature enough, like been around enough that they could do whatever they want live. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they do have certain things planned. And I know like a lot of bands, like I said, as much as people don't want to admit it, like everything is like pre-planned.
I think there's a truth to that. I think I've heard, like, I used to follow bands around live a lot in my early 20s. And like, I would go see a band like, you know, 5 or 6 times in a month or something, just around the area. And so there is definitely a truth to that. Whereas like, oh, there's that joke again, or there's that, you know, that same kind of thing that's sort of pre-planned. And I think I would say that if anything, it might just be because it's like, well, this eliminates my need to try to come up with something to say.
Oh, for sure. 100%. And I'm not saying any of that in a negative way. I just know that some people like to deny that stuff happens. But and nowadays, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the entire show is planned out and like you just hit go on the space bar.
Yeah, things have gotten
You don't have ways to, you can't improvise things because everything is playing to the track. So like, you know.
Well, not only that, there's a level of production now and just everything above a certain level of like, if you've got like an indie band that 100 people are going to go see on a Wednesday night, that's a lot different. But there's like a certain threshold where like everything up is like, all right, every single thing that you do has to fit to this sort of, you know, the data that we have collected from a marketing perspective of like, well, you can't have a concert that's 3 hours because then people are getting too much something for their money, or, you know, you got to play these songs because these are the hits and this is the most popular order and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know exactly how granular it gets. And I really don't want to wind up wandering into like a cynical sort of
For sure.
viewpoint, because I really can't stand that type of attitude. But there is a
Right,
certain
I
level
agree.
of like, I did one time see Foo Fighters live in like, I don't know, probably like 2007 or something. And they were supposed to open for Motorhead, but Motorhead got stuck in Texas because of a storm. And so Foo Fighters just played the 2 slots. They played their set, and then they just went out and they just played more songs and Motorhead songs. And it was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff. It just feels like you don't get organic sort of like, well, now we're going to do this. And now, let's just keep playing until everybody here passes out. Like,
Yeah.
that's just never it just doesn't seem like you get stuff like that.
And
very
a
often
lot of
these
it
days.
depends too. Like, it's not even necessarily so much about musicianship anymore. Like, imagine if you go to like an I See Stars show, right? They can't improvise. Half of everything you're hearing is coming from the laptop, so you
Totally.
can't you can't add an extra measure here or a measure there, or if you're really feeling a solo, add extra bars to it. You can't do that. It's like literally impossible, because
And it's like-
you have to play to the song. So like,
When I saw
know.
I saw Muse a couple of years ago, and it was one of the most, like, every time I see Muse, it is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And they are constantly one-upping themselves. You don't think that they're going to be able to outdo the thing that they did last time you saw them, and then it's just like, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable. But like something like that is choreographed to the step. Like,
Yes.
you're not,
yeah,
he has to, at this point in the song, he's got to run down the stage and go through that door so he can get up on the shoulder of the giant statue of the guy with the mirror face so that he
Yeah.
can play this little solo and get back down. It's like, this is all choreographed. This is everything here is planned
Yeah.
out, super strict. But that's fine too, because it rules like that.
Oh,
A
for
show
sure.
that size.
They're like it's too big to be improvising, because if something were to go wrong, it would be too catastrophic. Whereas like the best show I've ever been to was the first time I saw Lights. That was the best concert I've ever been to, and that was when she was touring with Siberia. But the second best show I was ever at was at a small venue in Lincoln, and it was when I went to go see Vast, which is a band I haven't talked about very much, but visual audio sensory theater. And the band that was supposed to open for them just never showed up. There were supposed to be 3 bands, and Vast was supposed to finish. So the first band went on stage, and they were like, hey, it was like an hour late, and they were like, hey, the band that was supposed to play between us like never showed up, so we're just going to play a short set, and then Vast is going to come out and play, and we'll get you guys home early. We're like, okay. And there was less than 50 people in there for sure. And Vast is like a international, like a big band that should have deserved more than this. But I guess they just weren't. And so the band got out there, they did their songs. I don't remember them at all. Nothing special about them really or anything. And they left. And then Vast got up there and they were like, hey, this is really weird. We feel bummed for you guys, but we're going to try to play the best show we can for you guys, for like the small amount of people that are here. And there, like I said, there was less than 50 people there. And so they started and they played for I would say probably like 45 minutes. And then they were just like, you know what? Does anybody have any songs that you want us to play? And so people would raise their hand. There was literally a small enough group that people didn't even shout. They were just like raising their hands. And John would be like, you. And the guy would be like, this one. And he'd be like, okay, well, come on. That's like our biggest song. We're obviously going to do that one later. Does anyone have anything else? And so that guy rose my hand and I was like, tattoo on your soul. Because that was one of my favorite songs theirs. And he was like, that's a great one. We haven't done that one for a few years. Let's do that. He
Nice.
turns around to the guy. He's like, do you guys know that one? Doesn't matter, just play along. And he just started it, and they played the whole song. I was like, this is awesome, And then at one point they started messing around, and they played like half of Enter Sandman. And then John was like, we got to stop. I don't know any more of the song. He's like, I don't know how I can't play a guitar solo like that, and this is not what this is. But the bass player was just like going. He's like, this is the best thing we've ever done, and it seemed really like it was not planned at all.
Oh, totally. And that wouldn't. I had a similar situation one time. I saw the audition live, and they were playing at the waiting room, and it was a blizzard that night. And so there was 20, 30 people there. Yeah. And exactly the same thing happened. They were taking requests, and people were up on stage dancing with them and stuff. Like, it was one of the coolest shows I've ever been to. And then I might have told this story on here before, but there was the time that I saw Guster, and they had a band opening for them called Trippin' Balls. And they were like announcing it on the radio, like Guster with special guest Trippin' Balls. And I'm like, who the hell is, I've never heard of this band. I'm looking them up. They have no online presence whatsoever. And I was like, what is it? All right, whatever. Maybe some crappy local band I don't know anything about. And so Trippin' Balls comes out, and it's a Halloween show. And so they're all dressed up, and they play this one song. They just play one song. It's like 15 minutes, and they're cruising through it. And I was like, this is immaculate musicianship. What is happening? And like I move up closer to the stage, and I'm like looking at them. I was like, that's Guster. They're just all playing
Right.
each other's instruments, wearing costumes. And then they left and came back, and they're like, what a great band that was.
I love that kind of stuff is so cool.
And I loved it, man.
I love
It
it
was
when
so
bands
fun.
do that kind of stuff. That's great. Okay, let's watch Whiplash, and then we can
Okay.
end the video here. Okay, let's see what. Click on the link. Pause it when it starts going. Okay. Okay, hold on. Wait. Stop, computer. No. Oh, don't explode on me, please. Okay, put that back there. Okay. All right. Are you ready to
Yes.
listen to Whiplash? Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
Adrenaline starts to flow. Flexing on the road. Acting like a maniac.
Interesting.
See, there's that wood bass.
Yep.
Wake up, man. We ain't done yet.
I think Chris Schoenberg had a bass just like that.
Title the Whiplash. 1, 2.
What's that mean in whatever? Swahili.
I don't know.
I almost lost a tooth in a pit like that once. It's August.
I would
What's that?
definitely stay
August
away
Burns
from
Red.
that kind of stuff. Lars' face. They could be playing any notes and I wouldn't know.
It's just nonsense.
That's the thing though, you miss one note and it's obvious. Like you can tell that it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole point of it. Like they're just good enough to sound perfect, which is incredible. I kind of hate it when bands do that live. Let the crowd yell the thing. Like, I want to hear you. I paid money to hear you scream Whiplash, not the dude next to
But
me.
it's like proof that they're there, you know?
No, I know, and it's the fact that they know the song. Like, part of me loves it, and part of me is also like,
Yeah, I get you.
you can do it too much as a
Yeah.
band. You can do it too much.
Where it's like you get two full verses of crowd, and it's like, okay, I'll just go home and sing it myself.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah, hit me. What's that box above the stage?
I was wondering that.
Oh, it's just a speaker array, huh? Kind of aimed at Lars. He has to have in-ear monitors, though, right?
I imagine so.
You know what, Chris? You know what we've got to watch sometime. You and I don't know if Chris showed. It's hard to get all three of us here, and when we do, I feel like we waste time if we're not doing something really important. You know? You know what I mean,
I just
though.
laughed. He yelled
Like-
like, instead of Whiplash, which made me laugh.
Oh. If I talked over it, that's good. But you and I have got to watch some of the live Children of Bodom stuff.
Okay.
Because I didn't like Children. This is so hypocritical of me, but like I didn't really get Children of Bodom until I saw them live, like their live videos.
It happened to me with
And I was like,
Arcade Fire,
yeah, I was like,
who I still do not like at all, but their live show was awesome.
Yeah. I only like one of their songs. I bought 2 of their albums, and both of them disappointed the crap out of me, except for that one song. Arcade Fire, I mean.
I would go to this show, man. I would pay hundreds.
Man, hope you had some fun. We did. We'll see you around, man.
The way that he sets his mic up in such a way where it looks like he's 7 foot tall.
Yeah, that's cool. Like
And the way he plays, like with his big long arms and his skinny legs, and he just like gets. Oh, his stance is so cool, man.
I stopped it.
What
by
a
the
boss!
Way. I paused it, by the way. Yes, yeah. There's just something to me about like. Isn't there anything else people who are having like a really good time can yell other than just yeah? Like, isn't there just like, come on, man? You know, and I hate to be like the little old grandma that's just like, but it's like every single show I've ever been to where they have distortion on their guitars, it's like, oh, we have a really great time tonight. Up your neighbor. We're having such a good
Well,
time.
you know, if there were other words that had the same intensity, then we would use those. It has nothing to do with the swears. It's about the intensity.
I know. It doesn't mean the same thing if you're just like, are we having a really good time tonight? I guess that would be like what the Rolling Stones, Aerosmith out there. Are we having a really good time
Jeremy
tonight?
Camp.
I love your neighbor. You know,
That's right. Yeah.
I know, I get it. It's so stupid, but just like it's just something that's stupid. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. We don't have to go. You know, we've had fun here. Like I said, check out the Discord. When we're done with this, I'll just go right immediately into our conversation about video games because I think it's fun. If anybody here is interested in video games, we've talked about video games a little bit in the premieres and on Discord. So I know there's some crossover there for sure. Plus,
I would imagine so.
Plus, if you're a cool dude, you like music and you like metal and you like video games. I mean, come on, it's all the same stuff anyway. I will say also, Chris, we've had a couple of people that have been requesting recently that we finally do the thing I've been wanting to do for years, which is to have you guys react to some of the WWE entrance theme songs, which you and Chris just like vehemently are like, no, no, we're not doing that. It's beyond me.
Nothing kills. It's such a strange phenomenon. Like there's this podcast I have always listened to for years and years, and every time, like they do all kinds of variety stuff, mostly like diving into different media, movies, games, and stuff like that. But every time that they would do a wrestling episode, it was like 3 listeners. Normally it's like we've got thousands of people every time. Wrestling 6. Like
to be fair though, wrestling on YouTube has never been hotter. Like social media wrestling is like insanely popular right now.
Which is so funny because it's like, why isn't there any crossover? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't know. I know a couple of people who love it.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So thank you everybody for watching. If you liked this kind of a thing, I don't know. I just imagine we'll probably just make people mad because I wasn't there sitting there watching like, oh my God, can you believe the finger movement that Kirk had on the 3rd verse of the whatever?
Yeah, like I didn't really have anything.
But I think it's fun to watch them.
Special to say either. But it is a good
to
time.
watch them, to feel the energy. You know, I've been really debating about how we're going to do Symphony and Metallica because we have had a couple of people say like, I totally understand what you guys are saying, but it would be really kind of like a lot. It would be, I feel like if there's any way you guys could do the video at the same time, you would really be benefiting from that.
Yeah, I think so.
And part of me agrees with that too. And so I was thinking like maybe we do a whole separate video where we just watch like the intro and the first song video and do that as its whole separate thing. And then the rest of it we would just listen to. Or we do it more like we were just doing here where we're just kind of like...
I was going to say, why can't we do this?
Well, we'll see how this works out. Like I have, because I had my screen full screen, like when I'm editing the video, it might be like ungodly terrible frame rate, like horrible looking.
Oh, sure.
You know, and so we'll see like... We could put it on like a separate screen and have that going and then like just use one dedicated device for recording. And then I could just add the video over the top of the video later. You know, to me, if we were going to do that, I almost feel like we should just like do the whole thing, which I know it's like 2.5 hours, which is like insane. But to me, if it was more of like, oh, we're just going to like hang out and have fun and all of us just like chill and talk over the music like we were doing, I don't necessarily see there be a big issue with just like starting it and saying we're not stopping it until it's done, and then when it's done, the video is going to be over, you know?
Yeah.
Like just let it go and run through the whole thing, and we just enjoy it and watch it. And it's not just 2.5 hours of us sitting here watching it and absorbing it. We're just like having fun, chilling, you know? Like,
I think there's a certain amount of like, I mean, that's what people do when they react to movies and stuff. Like,
no, for sure. A lot,
treat
and
like
a lot
that
of
a
it's
little
like
more.
a lot of it's like cut out after the fact, you know. So
sure.
it's like, and I could definitely do that, you know. But I feel like people who are watching this, they want to hear the whole song and everything too, and especially
yeah, it's tough because I would imagine also think about like Mystery Science Theater, for example, where it's like, you know, that's the format. They watch the movie and you watch them watch it, but you usually don't care about the movie. Like, you know, Plan 9 from Outer Space is not your favorite movie, and you don't watch it by watching a robot talk about how stupid it is. Like,
yeah. And like, especially with YouTube and copyright stuff, like once the YouTube algorithm recognizes that we're watching the S&M live version of Enter Sandman, if there's 10 seconds of it, it's the same amount of copyright recognition as there is if there's 7 minutes of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, why go to all the trouble of editing it all out, you know? But it's like, well, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I just am so hesitant to do video stuff too, because it's a whole extra layer of copyright stuff. You know, if I go through and edit this whole video and we upload it, and the video is what gets copyright, and I have to like add some kind of watermark or some crap over it, which everyone has said, like, you don't have to worry about Metallica. Their videos are treated the same way as their audio, so like you don't have to worry about it. So like we'll have to just see what happens, but anyway, we'll worry about that in the future. Everybody go check out the Discord. Get ready for us to do some new stuff. We've got Linkin Park coming up. I'm really excited for that, although I'm really like, part of me just does not want to do the full album with Chris, because I don't even like half the songs on Hybrid Theory. Like,
there's only 25 minutes of songs on Hybrid Theory.
I know, and like half of them are just kind of like not the best songs. So it's like the 3 or 4 songs on that album are like totally forgettable, like boring to me. So like, I guess we could have fun and tell Chris up front, like, there's a couple songs on here I don't like, so guess which ones you think are the lamer songs or whatever. But part of me is also like,
he knows what he's getting into.
Like, I really think that, like, of all the songs on Hybrid Theory, like, I think there's, like, 12 tracks. I think maybe, like, 5 or 6 of them, like, their reanimated versions are better than the Hybrid Theory versions. But I don't want to just, like, substitute them, because you need to hear the original version, I feel, first to appreciate the reanimated version.
Yeah.
But then also I was going to have us do the 2 bonus tracks, My December and High Voltage, which I don't even know if you've ever even heard those.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
My December for sure.
Yeah.
High Voltage I'd have to listen to.
Yeah, like those are like 2 of my favorite songs from the album. But again, I also think both versions are far superior on the reanimated version.
That's interesting. I didn't know Reanimated was that type of album.
It's just the whole album redone, but with more rap and less rock, and it's way better, I think, in a lot of cases. Okay. Points of Authority is a far superior song on Reanimation. Way better. And that's the song that was their single off of that album, which they made a music video for and everything. That was when they started their whole anime thing. But like, Points of Authority off of their first album, which, remember, that's the forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame or whatever. Like, the Reanimation version of that is the version that everybody knows, because that's the way better version.
That's great. It's really interesting when bands do that. I know Shiny Toy Guns had a similar situation, and Evanescence even had a similar situation with Origin, and then the album that everybody knows.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that could be a music room episode right there.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. And so like, but just part of me is just like, we're only going to get Chris to sit down and listen to Linkin Park probably once.
Right.
He's going to hate it. We're not going to know if
Does he hate it that much?
I think he is going to. But the thing is, like, I don't know if it's in him to be serious. Like, ever. So, like, I don't know if, like, for me, if you were showing me something I hated, I would sit here and try, like, as hard as I could to, like, either figure out
make
why,
it worth your while,
or find the things I do like about it.
Same.
I think Chris will try to do that, but it will just sound sarcastic the entire time, because it probably will be.
I see.
But I do think we'll have a great fun time. But part of me is almost like, I just wish we could listen to like 2 songs off of Hybrid Theory, like 3 songs off of Meteora, 1 or 2 songs off of A Thousand Suns and then just skip right to their last album and be like, look at this band that everybody thinks is a rap metal band. No. Okay, they don't have any rap verses. If they have 8 albums, there's no rap verses on 5 of their 8 albums. Like there's
I
no
just had an
rapping.
idea.
You know what I mean?
I just had a great idea. We each gather up a handful of songs that we think the other of us, or the other 2 or whoever the hell, we think that they would hate the most. And then we have a little competition to see who can get through the most songs before they tap out.
That would be awesome. That would be hilarious and awesome. But I just think
I don't know anything about his taste in music though, so
yeah,
I don't know.
And I think we could all make it through everything, unless you picked unless I was like,
right. Well, yeah, I mean, you got, you're not.
I'm not going to pick a Dvorak song that's 2.5 hours long,
Right. You got to not treat it like a interrogation in Abu Ghraib or something. Like you just you play along with like that. No, I can't take any
just
more.
Just Tunak Tan for 2 hours long.
Dude, that song rules.
I know, right? I know. I would love that. I know. Yeah, I know for sure. But anyway, sorry. This is just all stuff I've been thinking about, that Linkin Park thing. But people are really excited to do Hybrid Theory, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't even think it's Linkin Park's best album. Although I think it's so tough because like the highs of it are so good, but the lows are
different
lower.
Episode.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, thank you very much. Check us out on Discord. That's where we're going to be making these decisions. We're going to be doing...
The link will hopefully be in the description.
I promise I will do it for this video. People even asked for it on the last video, and I was like, oh, I'll do that when I get home, and I never did it.
Never did.
But I will put it in the description of this video. It'll be the first thing you see after like the little blurb where it's like Patrick and Chris listen to whatever for the first time. But we're going to do that. We're going to do polls about Megadeth, Slayer, Ghost. We're going to eventually do a whole Tool album for sure. We've got lots of stuff planned, and we just have to find ways that we can do it.
We just need to get Chris Schoenberg to actually respond to text messages. Is really what
yeah. Although to be fair though, I talked to him twice over the last couple of weeks, and like last time I sent a group text to all 3 of us, and I was like, "Let's get ready to do it." He was out of state doing something else for like a whole week, and he didn't even check his texts or anything because it was like a family thing. So he was he was like legit busy. And then and then last
give him a pass.
Yeah, and then last week when I sent out the text too, he was. For school, he was running sound for the spring play that they were doing at the college that he works at. So like every day after work, he had to go in and do live sound for their play. And so that was something that was, I'm sure he'll want to come here and talk about it for like hours at a time.
He'd probably know the answer to the question we asked earlier.
He probably would. And so he's been legitimately doing things, but I think now that'll kind of quiet down. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's end this video. Thank you very much for watching. Metallica is great, but there's lots of better bands, including Godsmack and Linkin Park, and all the bands that I like.
Don't do this. Stop this.
One sucks, whatever, blah, blah. It's all the Metallica stuff. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.